Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the CEO of Peak, Ruzwana Bashir.
Thanks, everyone. It's wonderful to be here. Today, I'm going to be talking about my entrepreneurial journey. At Peak.com, we help people to book the best activities, from ziplining to art tours, while our Peak Pro software tools help tour operators to come online and get online bookings and grow their business. We've raised over $40 million from some of the top Silicon Valley investors, like Eric Schmidt and Jack Dorsey, and the founder of Kayak. And we've helped over 15 million customers to book great experiences. But I was probably the last person that expected to be here on this stage today. So what you can see up here is a picture of me as a kid. My parents were from Pakistan, and I grew up in a small community that was very, very conservative in the north of England. My dad sold fruit and vegetables on a stall in the local market, and my mum didn't speak English, and she didn't work. And it wasn't an easy childhood. We were pretty poor. It wasn't a very happy household. There was a lot of violence and abuse. And even as a young kid, I knew I needed to get out to survive. But the girls and women in my community didn't get a lot of opportunity. The women weren't allowed to work. They couldn't choose what to wear. They didn't even choose who they got married to. So school and education actually ended up being a huge haven from a young age for me. I was a big nerd, and I had a teacher that had gone to Cambridge University, and she inspired me to apply to Oxford. And I did that without telling my parents, and when I got in, it completely changed my life. Oxford was a huge change for me. I bought my first pair of jeans, I tried desperately to fit in, and I became president of my debating society, which is called the Oxford Union, which over the last couple of hundred years has hosted speakers like Winston Churchill or Mother Teresa and Malcolm X. So when I was there, I got the chance to meet people like John McCain and Madeleine Albright, and spending time with those people and those inspirational leaders helped me realize that the world and the opportunities ahead of me were much bigger than I'd ever imagined. I wanted to work in business, so I got a job in finance at Goldman Sachs and then the Blackstone Group. And I came to America on a Fulbright scholarship to go to Harvard Business School. I went in thinking that that was going to teach me how to become an entrepreneur. It didn't, but it did bring me to the US, which is an incredible place to start a business. I worked at a couple of startups, and I got the bug. I fell in love with tech, and that's what led me to take the leap to start Peak. So the idea came from a trip I took to Istanbul with my girlfriends for my birthday. It ended up taking me about 20 hours to figure out all the fun things we could do and book them. And I just found myself thinking, why isn't there a one-stop shop to be able to easily discover and book great experiences? I can easily book a restaurant on OpenTable, I can book a fitness class on MindBody, but nothing existed for experiences, so I decided to start Peak. I knew that we were going to need to build a lot of technology, but I wasn't technical. So I started going to tech meetups and trying to meet people to work with. I was actually pretty awkward, and I felt really out of place there. But after some months, I eventually got introduced to my co-founder, Oscar Bruning, who had 2 degrees from MIT and had spent 15 years building software at some top Silicon Valley companies. We actually bonded over horse riding in Mongolia, and we decided that we wanted to partner and help more people have fun adventures. Our next job was to raise money. This was the first time that either of us had founded a company, but we had actually both worked at startups before, so we had some contacts with investors who had invested in the companies we were part of. It was actually really tough to get that first yes, but when a couple of early investors like Eric Schmidt signed on, we kind of got the ball rolling. We'd built some credibility, and it really helped us. In the early stages, investors are really only looking for 3 big things: a big market, a great team, and the right timing. So the activities market is really big. It's $200 billion and growing, and it's still largely offline. The businesses were using pen and paper to run their tours, and consumers still had to phone everybody to be able to book things. And we knew that had to change. We also saw that people's attitudes were changing, especially for people under 40. We didn't want to spend our money on products. We want to spend our money on experiences. All the science has shown that experiences make you much happier than buying products. And, people wanted to spend their money there. So we see this market growing. We think it's going to be the next $1 trillion industry because we want better options than just watching Netflix or going to a restaurant. You don't need to save up for a vacation to do a great experience. In fact, 35% of our bookings happen with locals in their hometown. What they're doing is, a date night, which is a cooking class with your wife, or they're taking their kids rock climbing, or you might even go to an escape room with your team to bond at work. Next, investors are looking for a great team. And my co-founder and I have been really lucky to get great talent to come and work with us, including about 100 people in our office here in Utah. And our team have really been able to build great companies like Uber, and they know what it takes to scale. At the end of the day, it's the team and the talent that allows us to build great products and to better serve our customers. And so it becomes a really important part of what investors care about. And the last thing is timing. They're really focused on that, and our investors were excited that mobile was revolutionizing our industry. Consumers are pulling out their mobile phones and booking activities last minute. Over 50% of the experiences on our platform are booked within 24 hours of it happening. And the businesses that we work with, the ziplining company that's in the forest, or the parasailing company on the beach, they can all now use iPads or iPhones to run their entire operation from their mobile phones. And that's really exciting. So today, the average tour operator using our Peak Pro software tools increases their website bookings by over 30%, and they save hours and hours of time. We've had so many people kind of tell us that we're the backbone of their business, the thing that allowed them to stop doing admin and actually focus on providing a great customer experience. And we know that's happening because on Peak.com, we've now got the largest selection of activities in America with over 1 million verified ratings and reviews at an average of 4.8 stars. And we've been able to partner and provide activities bookings for companies like Yelp, Google, and Groupon. And it's really easy when people see us in the high moments, the moments when you're celebrating and you feel unstoppable, to think that's all there is, right? This is what they see. Or they see the crazy, surreal moments, like when you end up playing Elon Musk at the very sophisticated board game Connect 4, and you end up beating him 3-1. Or even the silly fun moments, like when your team decides that you can probably fit into a suitcase, and you decide to A/B test that. I can. But nobody really talks about the frequent all-nighters, the terrible mistakes you make, the bad features, the bad hires, the times when you think, actually, your company's not going to survive. And honestly, we've actually had lots of those moments. When we started Peak.com, we actually focused on just providing, apologies, it was the last slide. We started helping people just book fun things to do in cities. And 2 months after launch, the New York Times reached out and said they were going to cover us. That was very exciting. Except, when we were listing our activities, we didn't have any calendaring. The businesses were using phone calls to book. So we faked it. We put up their schedules, and then when somebody booked on our website, we called them on the back end to try and get that booking to work. The problem was that about 40% of the time, the booking didn't work. And that was really, really bad. And so we had to make a decision. What were we going to do? Are we going to let that happen, or are we going to pivot our business? And so we did. We ended up pivoting our business to start focusing on building tools for tour operators to help them get online. And it was tough to do that. We needed to completely re-strategize. We had to get our investors on board to start investing in a new thing that would actually probably take a year or two to pay off. We had to change our team, We had to do all of these things that were very, very hard, and our decision to become a two-sided marketplace has been really transformative on all fronts, but there were a lot of sleepless nights and 90-hour work weeks to get there. And it's in those inevitable moments that you really begin to doubt yourself. You know, as the founder, at the end of the day, you're the one on the screen. You're ultimately responsible for all the bad decisions, all the poor execution, and you meet a ton of naysayers that want to tell you all the ways that you might suck. And even on those toughest days, you basically need to keep your confidence. You need to get on the stage, get your game face on, and make it happen. And it can be really, really hard to keep that confidence. But we all do need to remind ourselves that perfection doesn't exist. You need to be able to hear those no's, learn from them, and yet have the wisdom to move on from things. You need to surround yourself with people who are just as excited as you are to make the impossible possible. And sometimes you need to be okay with the fact that you're going to need some chocolate cake and pizza at the end of the day to recover. So you always have to remind yourself as well of your mission and purpose, why you work so hard to do what you do. At Peak, we want to connect the world through experiences, and we want to help people have everyday adventures and fun with their friends and family. We care so much about having a positive impact on the world. And today we already power hundreds of millions of dollars of bookings in experiences, and we're a market leader in our industry with the best products. But it's just the tip of the iceberg. As I said before, we think this is going to be a $1 trillion industry. And so we know that there's going to be lots of issues. Even from here to where we're going next, there's going to be ups and downs. And that's okay. We think that's all part of the experience. Thanks so much.